Welcome to Airbnb Success. My name is Trang Nguyen, and today we're looking at Module 4 about guest communication. So in this module, we go into looking into detail of how to communicate with guests effectively and properly, so you can make sure that the whole procedures from beginning when guests make inquiry at your place until they book your place, and then when they come to stay at your place and finish leaving your place with happy guests, and they will give you a good review, so all the guests can see it and then start booking your place as well. So it's a sequence of activity and work that involved to put things in place and make everyone happy, and as a result that will make you a lot of money. For Module 4, this is what involving. First, we looking at what is a great hosting skills and how you can master the warm and fuzzy of becoming the best host you can. Then we will looking at how creating a gift basket, because it is a solution that make the guests happy and will give you a good reviews. As they always say, the first impression is the most important, right? So the gift baskets upon their arrival will give you a lot of advantage. And then we're moving into guest feedback. How to ask guests to leave good feedback for you, and how to show them to review you correctly as well, and looking at how you can leave your guest review and what is a private feedback that guests giving it to you, so you can continuously improving your place. Yeah. So we give how you can give your guest reviewed, and if it's the same style of guests keep coming over and over again, there's no point of writing different manipulate review for individual guests. So I will show you a standard of guest reviews, and you can just give it copy and paste it. Then we were also looking at the Airbnb guest review systems and how you can improve it by improving your place for the guests, in order for them to give you a positive review. Okay, because that's the most important things with guests, positive review. If you don't get a good review from them, and from the first to the fifth guest, if you just get very bad review, that will reflect on the whole account at total. I mean, eventually, if you have a lot booking and lot of guests leave you the review, it doesn't matter much if you have one or two bad reviews. But then if you only have 5 reviews and 3 or 4 of them are bad, there will be consequences to reflect on your income. All right. Okay. Then we go moving into how to build an amazing review. I will show you some techniques, some tips to build it up over time. And if something happened, if the guests while they're staying there or during the communication there, and can get damages, so after you check the guests out, then we were looking at how to control all the damage, and I will give you 5-step framework for minimizing all the bad review around the damages as well. Okay. Apart from that, we also sometimes dealing with negotiating with the guests. So there will be guests who like to ask for discount, ask for substitutes, ask for different things that you wouldn't be able to expect if you don't have any experience on this. So I will show you all of that as well, and you can skip your negotiation position still. Okay, but do look back into the previous training so you can see what type of guests are coming to your place in order to fulfill their expectation. Okay, and lastly, we're looking at how to solve guest problem, such as all the broken damaged items in your place or the guest living unhappy or any problem that can be fixed and problem that we're unable to fix but have to um, get Airbnb involved, and also the handling guests who will just want to leave your space as soon as they arrive. Okay, and I will show you how you can issuing a refund for your guests as well. Okay, now let's looking at individual point of communicating with the guests. First one is hosting skill. I will show you how to master the communication between you and the host. Means some of you will have a better communication skill, and some of you have doesn't have that good skill. I didn't at first, but eventually, after dealing with so many guests, more than 300 guests now, I've roughly can understand most of them, and I can say that I master most of the. I can say that I have mastered the way to dealing with the guests to make them happy. It doesn't matter how difficult they are. Okay, so in order to become the best host you can, um, you got to have the guests to leave you the longer reviews, because that will give you more booking, and the more time you spend with your guests will impact the quality of the review. Okay, there's a simple way of getting higher quality reviews, such as small gifts. We will talk about this later. And being thoughtful, or you can running a basic task for your guests, such as if they ask you to get them an umbrella because it's raining, they didn't bring umbrella with them. If they ask you to borrow an umbrella, or if they ask you to print out something for them, they need to check. They need to go to the airport when they check out, and they already check in online, but they need to print out boarding pass. If you can fulfill those little things, that will leave a very good impression in your guest point of view. And another thing is, some of them may ask for airport pickup as well. So if you can be able to refer them to a particular cheaper version of way to get to your place without the hassle of moving around on a public transport, then or you can even provide airport pickup for them, and you can charge them on top. That's of course, but guests will appreciate all of that effort. And those are all the repeatable strategy that you can use over and over again, and you will get better at this over time. After you dealing with so many guests, at first it may be hard for you to figure out, but later come it will become your intuitive. Okay. You got to find the right amount of face time with your guests. If you do not have face time with your guests, there is a higher likelihood that you get a bad review. The guests that don't meet you will feel like the space is a hotel and you rate it like a hotel. Okay. If the guests have personal relationship with you, they are more likely to give you the benefit of the doubt, and it also will make their otherwise positive review better. because they actually deal with real hosts who they actually met. Okay, so there is a balance to FaceTime and um, to to experiment with how much interaction with the guests as much you like. So I suggest at the minimum checking the guests in and showing them the property, especially at the first 10 to 20 guests. Okay, the minimum checking with the guests in and showing. So my sweet spot for the guest is about 15 to 20 minutes, and you can modify this if you are experienced since a bad review or you are in the need of getting good review. Okay, all right, but do spend more effort for the first 10 to 20 guests that you host. Another pawn to getting guests positive review is give them a gift basket. This is only about, you can provide them about 5 to 10 pounds, and this is a solution for all of your problem. Okay, gift baskets can be made very quickly and cheaply, and it's make a huge difference in the guest experience and increase their livelihood that you get a good review, right? The gift basket can be given at the beginning of the check-in, in the middle of the reservation, or even at the end when the guests leave, because not until they leave and after the day after you they will have an option of reviewing you. So if the experience wasn't that good, give them some gift to go away with, so basically they have something in their mind when they go back and review you later. When we talk about the gift basket, I'm not talking about the traditional gift basket, all right? You can create your own with small items from your city, from where you are staying. You can have like, for example, you can have like um, two pieces of chocolate, London postcards, because I'm from London. My place in London, and a piece of paper with contact information and food recommendation, or a city map, the underground map, or some attraction discount coupon for attractions in the area. It's very hard for the guest to leave you a negative review. Um, because everyone loves a gift, right? Especially chocolate. No one can refuse it. Happier guests will make you happier as well, because it will reflect on your income. And who doesn't like people leaving them good and happy review, right? So for gift, you can use Amazon Prime to pre-order gift. That's my experience, and then put them in a small package, small bag, or just lay them nicely on the table or on the top of the towel on the bed. That will also look nice as well. If you can include your business card with your contact information, that'd be great. And you can get them free at vistaprint.com when you're first using it. Yeah, you can buy everything in bulk to create a set of gift baskets to give your guests over and over again, and you can make all of this up under £5. I receive guest feedback. So after guests stay in your place, they will have an option of leaving you the feedback. So this is like Amazon. The more people leaving you good, higher star and better feedback, the more your client, your guests will have a good impression and book your place. So getting the feedback from your guests will be vital to your success. Okay, you got to adjust your listings based on the real-time feedback, and this is the best way to adjust the guest satisfaction as well. And there's several ways to get feedback from your guests. You either asking guests for their feedback, So after guests staying at your place and left, you can encourage them to provide feedback in your post-stay thank you message. This will emphasize the fact that you would appreciate even minor feedback since you constantly strive to increase your guest satisfaction. Okay, so for me, when the guests leave, I tend to leave them this type of feedback. Let me read it to you. So after the guest leave, I don't leave the message immediately. I leave about 2 or 3 days because you had up until 14 days to give your guests feedback and really you get the review and guests leave you feedback. But I just put in my communication with the guests about 3 to 4 days after they leave, or maybe on you can do that on the day that they leave as well. You can write something like I trust you had enjoyed your stay at my place and thank for being a great guest and treating my place with respect. So I do saying this because guests will feel much better if you praise them at first in order to ask for something from them. Okay, and I continue. I'm always striving to improve my guest experience. So please let me know if you have any feedback or suggestion. And if you have enjoyed your stay, please share your story by writing a quick review on Airbnb. This will help future guests make a more informed decision about my place. And I would truly appreciate this. I wish you all the best, and you are always welcome to come back and stay at my place again anytime. Best wishes. Okay. That's the type of message that I normally send to my guests. I show you how to use your review correctly, all right? With the Airbnb review system, your review is just not important, yeah? Because the only use for your reviews, I have found that you can use deducted from the pre-empty review, which means guests can always just recreate their user account when they get a bad review, okay? So very rarely I have seen poorly rated guests who inquiry at my space. And Airbnb has updated their review system so that both hosts and guests review each other, and it's blind for 14 days. In another word, you can see there the review of the other person until both of you have submitted the review, and there is still an edit period for that, which is a plus if you actually have giving a review for the wrong guest in certain days, for example. Um, so after guest has staying at your place, they have option to leave your review. Hopefully, your review will be long full of glowing praise and appreciation. And if, however, you find yourself getting some earnest and sincere piece of constructive criticism, please check them to heart because they're actually valuable guests. And without the feedback, you would be unable to intelligently improve your space. So the lesson is instead of letting a rough review upset you, look at this as a positive opportunity to make a needed improvement. Sometimes guests will send you a private message because Airbnb offers the guests an option to leave it privately without having it open for other people to read it. These are personal messages will only be visible to you, the host, and guests often feel more comfortable mentioning small issues here than in the review so that your reputation is not affected negatively. Yeah, so that your reputation is not affected negatively. If you are interested in proactive pushing your guests to make suggestions, I recommend asking them to submit feedback via private message. Feedback is terrific, but without a company action is useless, all right? The point of hearing the thought and concerns of your guests is that you are making necessary improvement It is important to put your ego aside when dealing with customer feedback. Even if you think that your apartment is wonderful, there's always room for improvement. Moreover, different perspective and personality can have vastly different standards. You try not to look at suggestions through your own personal lens, alright? You can pick your winner and loser through your guest feedback. Collect all your guest feedback on what they like and did not like. So you can do this verbally or through messaging them absolutely. Okay. The strength of your place are rarely what you think, because the guests have a tendency to care about things you would never consider important. And it's only through constant feedback and observation that you can notice the winner, all right? You got to identify your strength and highlight those, add them to the description and dedicated photo or mention it in the message, etc. You can also identify the problem areas, address them in your description and try to fix the problem to the best of your ability and try to make up for it. Or if some cases try to hide, or in some case trying to hide the issue. And this is a natural way of observing guest selected benefits and then using those the long-term booking incentive for your place. So that is for the guest feedback. To you now, looking at your review to the guests. Okay, this is the benefits of guest review. Is review the foundation of the service industry. Remember that. Hotel, restaurants, personal trainer, physician, a real estate agent from like to until tutor, and any other service-based professions. You must live and die by the review system. Okay, that reflects clearly on Amazon, as we see. And as the world has grown ever more interconnected and social media has affected every aspect of our life, the power of customer feedback has grown exponentially. And advertising and marketing are still vastly important tools, but at the end of the day, cyber word of mouth is fast becoming the ultimate determining factor for the business venture success. That's also applied on your listings. The Airbnb review system creates an opportunity for you as a host, but watch your step. If you are careless with your first wave of guests, you may be regretted later on, because the worst that it might lead to the failure of your listings. However, if you handle your first guest and your first few clients with attention and care, you can fortify a solid reputation and stable launch path for yourself. So if you master this technique, it will ensure you a long-term success. Okay. But when you're starting out at a host, your number one goal should be securing as many positive reviews as possible, because this will benefit you in three ways. The first one is give you a higher position in the search result, because Airbnb view the amount of review that you have as one of the several factors to determine the ranking in your listings. And as the number of positive reviews grow, you will slowly climb the ladder of search result for your city and neighborhood. The second one is if there's more click from potential guests on your listings, you will benefit as well. So when you set a listing populated, the users see the primary photo along with some other bit of information, right? So one of the main pieces of data is the number of reviews written, which can be seen in the lower right corner above the price. Okay, so having an abundance of positive review will encourage visitors to click on your listing to check it out. And then the reason behind this phenomenon is the accept of social proof, the idea that universally liked products are usually high quality. So we are human naturally moving toward good and service that are popular, and alternately, if you only have few reviews, visitor might unfairly assume that your place is super bad. Okay, the last one is the higher conversion rate of inquiry uh, booking on your site. Okay, all positive review will increase the number of viewers who actually make booking with you. And again, the added level of trust gained by strong flow of positive review is often at the notch that most guests need to sign the dotted line. With the Airbnb review system, it is comprised of two parts. The first part is the overall guest satisfaction. Um, is rated on a five-star system, which is divided into six subcategories. And second, a written review that summarize your guest experience, right? So if you're looking at every guest review, you have overall satisfaction, and then you have six, which are overall guest review by a five-star system, and then six subcategories of accuracy, cleanliness, check-in, communication, location, value. So for the overall guest satisfaction rating, is consists of um, you get 5 star in the maximum. Um, Four of the subcategorized factors are dynamic within your control, such as accuracy, communication, cleanliness, and check-in. So your baseline standard in these categories would be 5 star across the board, all right? So if you treat your guests well, they should always give you 5 star. And if not, you likely done something wrong. And here a quick overview of each of the category along with some helpful tips on how to maximize the score. First, for the accuracy, this category is meant to be a reflection of the connection between your listing and your space. With the photo that you posted in your listing is proper depiction of the actual look and feel of the apartment. Okay, and were the available appliances and amenities in line with what were described. Also, is the proximity to fun nice spot accurately, and make sure that your listing is truthful representation. Never promise anything that you can deliver. Okay. The second one is communication. You need to communicate with your guests before, during, and after their stay. If you are a responsible host and available for your guests all the time, that is a big part of the equation. So for more detail on the communication, you can go to communicating with guests on Airbnb. They will give you more tips for that. You can also determine the cleanliness in order to for the guest to give you 5 star always. And remember, 5 star hotel cleanliness is the standard, all right? Every inch of your space needs to be absolutely spotless. If you had a bad review in these categories, make sure to ask your guests for specific feedback. Once you learn on the issue, remember it immediately for more detail on keeping the your place clean. Go back to the section routine cleaning, okay? I once have a student who had three consecutive um, I think 3 star cleanings. review from the guests, and immediately Airbnb sending him an email with a warning that they will close down his listing if there be more guests give him the lower review for his cleaning. So do be aware of this. Okay. Uh, Another one categorized that you can also work on a check-in is quite simple. And yes, a mismanaged one can blow the entire stay. Alright. So remember, newly arriving guests might have just completed a long and tiring journey. So the last thing they want is to deal with an unnecessary wait outside your apartment. And so make sure that you ensure them a smooth check-in. Okay. Um, and the location of your place. I mean, this obviously is out of your control, but you either have a terrific location or you don't. Okay. However, there's a ways that you can boost this rating without hiring a helicopter and construction crew to airlift your place to city center. So for example, if you dose your guests with terrific information regarding transportation, restaurant, nightlife, and tourist attractions, your guests will be able to make the most of their visits despite the fact that your place is a second-rated location. So the best way to deliver this information is by writing a detailed and well-organized guidebook for your guests. I will show you more detail on creating a terrific guidebook later. So you can also looking into my guidebook as well, so you can have a basic idea. Okay. For the value categorized, although this rating sounds fairly straightforward and is quite tricky to understand, you might initially presume that your goal is to aim for 5 stars. However, that is not necessarily the optimal outcome, because if you are netting 5 star in this category and getting more than an 80% booking rate, you are likely charging too little for your place. And if this is the case, you need to raise your price. So I recommend knock it up to 10% in increment until you see the booking rate start to drop. Yeah. Once you find the price sweet spot where the booking is still relatively strong, you will maximize your profit. And don't worry if your value rating drops a bit during this experimentation phase, because it will barely affect your search result ranking anyway, and you will likely only experience a slight dip. And then you got to write the review for your guests. Oops. Yeah. So there you go. 6 categories of overall guest satisfaction. And then guest review. With written review from your guests, is provide your guests with an opportunity to describe their experience in highly personalized manner. Okay. This is their chance to speak to future guests in their own voice. And although the star rating is the first data point potential guests will look at, throughout consumer will often read through the written review to get a personalized glimpse of your listings. Accordingly, it is in your best interest to encourage former guests to offer rating as well as a written review. Okay. So how to improve guest review? Now to improve in order to getting a positive review from the guests, you got to work hard to be the best host that you can be. And thankfully, my guests have rewarded me for my effort in the form of solid ratings and price reviews over time. Okay. So because I'm running quite a lot of places on my list, my account, I normally don't have the opportunity to welcome my guests personally, but because I have carefully selected a solid manager, I still been able to do exceedingly well. Okay. And at the end of the day, the best way to get a great review is to build a strong and sincere relationship with your guests. How do you go about doing this? Right? In short, be an awesome host. If you have implemented all the advice from the previous slides, just do you should be on your way to receiving a lot of positive review. So there are a few key points that are essential to nailing a solid review. Such as like your space must be cleaned, and as I mentioned previously, your place has to be spotless. Don't try to economize on this, alright? In fact, you should go the extra mile. Paying a premium for a good cleaner is most definitely worth it and should be considered an investment. As an added bonus, most people will be less inclined to make a mess or damage your apartment if it appears pristine. Okay, and everything's must work. Whatever amenity and appliance you mention in your listings must be in working order. The guests will arrive at your apartment with the expectation that everything you say is true. Accordingly, to be on the lookout for any broken or missing item. So things to check regularly include like heating, boiler, air conditioning, shower, electric shower, kitchen appliance, TV, Wi-Fi. Okay, and then you got to write a nice review for your guests. As I said earlier, the collection of solid reviews is the only surefire way to steadily stream of guests. One of the best ways to ensure that your customer actually write you a pleasant review is to preemptively submit one for them and then tell them that you've done one, and then you can um, ask for the review from them. So when you submit a review for your guests, you can provide feedback in three categories: cleanliness, communication, observation of the house rule. So as a general principle, I give all my guests 5 star across the board, unless I have a significant issues, and also for recommending my guests to other hosts. Finally, I drop a glowing written review. I usually submit my review immediately after checkout. So guests can be notified, and then they will review back to me as well. And if they don't, then I send them a reminder a couple days later. The topical, yeah. To make sure that you have left a very positive review for the guests, this will be important for them. Okay, even though they don't save your um, review after they review you back or after 14 days. If they decide to review you back, they will also have a chance to correct it as well. And don't be shy to ask for a review. If a guest neglects to write you a review after your first request, I suggest waiting about 1 week to resend them with a follow-up message um, to remind them. And you can write something like it. Hi guys, I just wanted to send you a friendly reminder to please leave review for me. Review are the lifeblood of an Airbnb host, and I rely on them to maintain my reputation. Moreover, I'm always looking to improve my space, so any suggestion or feedback you might have would be greatly appreciated. By the way, I gone ahead and written a review for you since you were such a terrific guest. I gave you top marks in all available categories. So I trust this helped you out for future reservation. And thank you again. Best wishes. Okay. The option to leave a review expires 14 days after the guests have checked out. So inform guests haven't left a review after 12 days. I send one final message to try to motivate them. And my message look like this. Okay. Hi guys, I hope all is well with you. I just wanted to send a final reminder to please leave a review for me. Guests only have a 14-day window to leave a review after checkout, and we are fast approaching that deadline. if you had time to say a few kind words about your stay, I would be greatly appreciated. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Um, if you guess if you get bad review, okay, even if you are super duper mega hot with customer service expertise pouring out of every inch, it will be almost impossible to please all of your guests. Remember how many people are there in the world. You will surely come across that one grumpy guest who encountered a few unavoidable problems during his stay and chose to check out his frustration via a negative review. So when the inevitable day arrived, you must make sure to address the review head on so as to minimize the damage done to your brand. Okay? You first got to check them seriously because when you give you a bad review, you don't brush it off. Alright, face the criticism head on. There is no such thing as an inapplicable complaint. There is almost always a reason behind the guest's displeasure or unhappiness. It's your job to accurately assess the complaint and discern what could be improved in the future. So don't let your ego get in the way of optimizing using your space and leaving a reaction. Although you can have a bad review putting on your profile, you can leave a responsive reaction. And Airbnb provides hosts with a 2 week window to leave a response. So I recommend doing this for every negative review. This will provide future guests an opportunity to hear your side of the story when scanning the review. And now when you write a response, don't be defensive. Instead, apologize for any unease and let your guests know that you are taking the complaint seriously. Okay. On top of that, the state that you will remedy the issues immediately and that it will no longer be a problem. Lastly, you got to state that within the response, you would love to host them again. It doesn't mean that they will book your place or rent, alright. And if they are willing, that you will offer them a discount. This good faith attempt to rectify whatever wrong transpired would show your viewer that you have every intention of providing them a great customer service. So, I've normally leave and so this is an example of a negative review, right? Okay, the guest write, we are very disappointed with this apartment. The shower wasn't clean, there wasn't enough towel, and we were woken up at night by loud noise coming from outside. We wouldn't stay here again. Okay, so if I was responding to a complaint like this, I would address each and every concern raised by the guest. He's not mentioned the three particular things. The first one is the cleanliness of the shower. The second one is number of towels, and the third one the noise level during the night. Plus, I would apologize sincerely and invite the guest to come back at a discount rate in the future. And here is my response would look like. So my response could be like this. Hi guests, I'm sorry to hear that your stay were bad. As a host, I always strive for excellence and I am truly disappointed that I was unable to meet the expectation. I am constantly looking for ways to improve my guest experience and thank you for your feedback. So after reading your review, I met with my manager and my cleaner to rectify all the issues that you mentioned. So in particular, the following charts have been made. Number one, I instructed my cleaner to take special care of the shower. And number two, I have bought 4 extra bath towels. Number three, I have purchased a collection of disposable earplugs for my future guests. So I would love to have you revisit my place to make up for your experience. So if you choose to stay at my place again, I would be happy to give you a 50% discount. Thank you, and once again, I truly apologize. That's what it is, okay? This reaction accomplished two things, right? The first thing it will show that I will take full responsibility for the guest dissatisfaction, and the second, it demonstrates that I have taken immediately action to remedy the issue. So in short, providing a direct and honest reaction shows that you care about your guest experience. A solid response like this will likely modify the negative effect of the review, and assuming that these reviews are few and far between. In fact, if you place your card right, you could come out of the situation with a stronger reputation than before. It's important to address specific criticism head on. A review says that your place was too noisy. Stand up for yourself and say, excuse me. A review said that your place was too noisy. Stand up for yourself and say this was because of the construction on the building that week. The microwave wasn't spotless. Mention that you used a news cleaning service that wasn't properly um, prepped. Okay, and communication like this is the key to the collaborative consumption model that Airbnb has hung its hat on. Negative reviews are not a good thing, but seeing a reasonable reply from the host can surely limit the damage, right? And dealing with guest cancellation. Another potential negative things on your listing could be the cancellation of a stay. So no host wants to cancel on a prospective guest, but these things happen, okay? And of course, you want to do everything in your power to avoid canceling a reservation. But once it has been done, there's a measure to check to put a positive spin on things. First and foremost should be the status of your guests. So you have to do all you can to help them find a comparable Airbnb listing to stay at, or use Airbnb customer support to facilitate the transfers for the payment to another listing. And once this has been resolved, you will receive an automatic review on your page saying the reservation was cancelled a day before the arrival. And this is an automatic posting, alright? So you now have the opportunity to respond to that like any other review. And it's important to be swift and honest in your replies. Here is an example that I came across in my own experience. Responded like, I was so upset to have to cancel the reservation, and it was my first and hopefully last cancellation. The guest reservation will make several months in advance, and unfortunately, my living situation had changed and make it no longer possible to host the guest in September. I was very and the guests were very understanding of the situation, and I offered to do anything in my power to help them find a new place to stay. And rest assured that this was an isolated incident, and I took the Airbnb reservation policy very seriously, as both guests and the host. So there you go. That sums it up nicely, and most potential guests will expect your prompt handling of the matter. While cancellation can still hurt your standing in Airbnb's search algorithm, a quality cancellation response will encourage a new guest that this were an isolated incident that should have no bearing on their stays. Okay? And to get the guest amazing review, and to get the guest amazing review, as stated above, the longer review will give you more booking, and the more time you spend with your guests will impact the quality of the review. I think we did already discuss about this, right? Not sure I have this slide repeated again. And there's a simple way of getting higher quality reviews, such as small gifts, being thoughtful, running basic tasks for your guests, an airport pickup, etc. And so those are all the repeatable strategy that you can apply over and over again. You will also get better at all of this, doing this over time. And at first it might be hard to figure out, but later it's become intuitive for you. Right. To fix all the damage control, this is my 5 step of framework to minimizing all the bad review and control any damage that will affect your listings. Okay. First, establish what exactly went wrong, and it might be a multiple things. Okay. So, what you want to do is first message your guests, explain yourself. Don't accuse or use invalid excuse. All right. Explain the impact negative review have and remind them if this isn't a hotel. You are working in a sharing community here. So check the guest review against the Airbnb policy, because some things will disqualify the reviews, and this will happen more often than you think. Okay. And third, go back and fix whatever it is they complain about. If they have an issue with it, chances are future guests will too. So make sure the guests know what they are getting in. Okay. You can also write a response to your review on your review word. Be thoughtful about it. State the fact and always say the problem will be fixed and will not affect future guests. And then the last thing you have to do is lower your price and try to get the review and throw out the bad review. And as long as you fix the problem, it's not a long-term issue, you will be able to recover all of this. When you negotiate with your guests, there's a few things you got to look at, such as what will you answer when guests ask for discount, or how can you stand firm on your negotiation position, or what the factor considering when you negotiating with them, and what is the length of the stage the guest stayings. And again, what type of guests are coming? We did talk about in the past. We may repeat it again so you can recall about it. In my experience, guests frequently ask for discount. And when this happens, you will enter into a phase of negotiation. All right. There's many excellent books written on the subject, and the most the best book is called Getting to Yes. So I won't go into great detail here, but negotiation is a complex art and science, and I suggest you to take the time to flip through a helpful book on the topic. Anyway, I will summarize a few of the basic concepts. So as a rule of thumb, it's generally better to have your potential guests make the first offer. Never be the first one to name the price. Okay, that's the rule. And by allowing them to give you an initial price, you can get a feel for precisely how much they want to spend. And moreover, it is enable you to offer solid counter offer, which will hopefully give you an agreeable rate. Whatever position you are in, your aim should be to give your customer the impression that you are not eager to accept a discount, all right? It's maintaining the notion that your place is high value and comfortability with steady level of demand. I have used this strategy with great success with my Airbnb, through my Airbnb managings. Now, for example, let's say you're asking for £1,000 and your guest offer £800. In this case, I suggest counter offering with £950. And if, however, your potential guests stick firmly to their offer and are unwilling to meet in the middle, use the factor discussed above to decide whether or not you accept their offer, okay? And when you enter into negotiating with them, the most important factor is your negotiating position. You got to use it for your leverage. A negotiating position is determined by number one, what you have to offer. Number two, what you are willing to accept in return. And number three, what substitutes exist in the marketplace. And since this is an Airbnb rental, what you have to offer is your space, and the minimum you're willing to accept is your lower bound, which is definitely by your marginal cost plus a variable premium. And the key question here is what substitutes are out there? So you can consider the substitute is the likelihood that you will secure a certified price will depend on the available substitute, okay? Your guess available substitute are comprised of similar things available during the same time frame. These listings likely reside in your neighborhood, since most guests to accommodation primarily based on location, and therefore to get feeling for your competition, you can look in the alternatives by performing a cursory search on an Airbnb within your neighborhood and fill in all the days requested and see what pop up. I mean, this would occur to you already when you first initially making the research around the area when you start your Airbnb account. So the factor to consider when negotiating, there's a few important criteria to consider. But you need to look at your calendar, the length of the guest request to stay, and the type of guest you plan to host. And by carefully looking at these factors, you will be able to make a reasonable point of compromise. Okay. And yes, that will be also based on what is the length of the guest staying. Um, I employ a price system that provides guests with an automatic discount when they stay for 6 days. You also can do that on the setting. You can set for a week price, a monthly price, okay? And this is the optimal length for me with respect to profit and reviews. Accordingly, trip length that hover around 6 days or more are usually more likely to get a discount than short stays set it to 3 nights. So what I do with my place is some place I set the set amount because I would expect the guests to stay longer. But other place I don't set the set amount for a week or month. How many day they stay is how many day they have to pay. That's it. Otherwise, there's is a lot of other people out there would like to book the place. Okay, and you got to build up your place, your reviews, and your listing up to that position where you don't actually have many guests who negotiate at all. Yeah, what type of guests are coming to your place? My place in London is located in an area of the city that has lots of bar, pub, shop, restaurants, and as you would expect, I get a ton of requests from young party people who want to go out for a long weekend, right? So while I certainly cater to many of these people, my ideal guests are the people who working in the city who come over for quick holiday, just for the weekend. Why? Right? They are the people that are considered to have a substantially lower liability level, and I don't have to worry about elderly couples making loads of noise or complain about certain things. The stage, the bathroom is upstairs, and it's difficult for them to work up there. The people who come to the city for an interview for business, they don't actually inviting ton of friends over drinking all night and create damaging to my place while staying there and so on. So don't get me wrong, I am enjoys knocking back to have a late night out and drinking a few beer every now and then. But my point is that a well-mannered and calm guest is more economical deserving of a discount from me than a bustling group of 19 years old. Okay, and you also have to look at how well do the day fit your calendar. Let's say my calendar look like this one on the right hand side here. Okay, if a booking will fill in a gap of days, I will much more interested in reaching a negotiation. Okay, the reasons for that is because of a time frame that evenly each of open space will make me significantly more money. For example, let's say I'm renting out my place for £100 per night. A potential guest send me a message regarding a stay from 2nd of May to 7th of May. According to calendar, this day will slide nicely in between two previous established visits. Let's look at this calendar, for example. It'll be easier. So, a potential guest send me a message regarding a stay from the 22nd to 24th of July, right, where I have the empty open date there. And let's say, and the guest also requests a let's say £40 discount per night. That means that instead of charging the full £100, I will only receive about £60 a night. Do I check this? So in this case, because of today is the 22nd, I will certainly do it. Go for it. This is a great deal for me because most guests would likely only want to book my place for the weekend, and all the weekend are filled up. Okay, and a weekend booking would leave the following week open if I let them book it. And since at the middle of the weeks are more difficult to fill in, I can reach the losings for £100 a day. Just such agreeing that discount will likely mean that I come out more money than leaving the place empty. If there's a problem why guests stay at your place, after they check in, you got to solve the problem there and then. Those problems such incurs even if you are the perfect host, or a house with 5-star concierge, a bellman, or tour guide. Any problem could arise, and is a reality in any business. All right, so don't be scared of it. Just think that if there's a problem, I solve it. I get some help to solve it, and if there's no problem, that's good to go. But if there is, then I can solve. Just think that you can solve it. Okay, or reach out to me. When something goes wrong, remember to keep your cool. Take a deep breathe into your abdomen and close your eyes. It's a damage control time. The last thing you want is a bad review for your listings. So make a battle plan to calm your guests and mitigate the damage, alright? So the damage could be a broken or damaged items. So no matter how new or technically advanced your appliances are, things will eventually break down and stop working, such as the light bulb, the microwave, the vacuum cleaners, and other household items will all meet their demise one day. When something stops working, don't jump to blame your guests, alright? Consider damage done and honestly ascertain whether or not it is beyond the scope of normal wear and tear. And only when it's absolutely clear something has been damaged by irresponsible or careless behavior should you bring it up. You must recognize that any attempt to recoup a loss from the guest is feel suicide. And in other words, you may win the battle, but you lose the war. Accordingly, your guests do not appreciate your accusation. So I suggest you do it sparingly, and only when necessary. And if you have intended determining that the guest was wrong and wrongfully damaged your place, you can ask to be reimbursed. And if a disagreement arises and your guest refuses to make restitution, you ask Airbnb to resolve it, okay? And Airbnb will collect an account from event from both parties and then make a rulings based on their analysis. From my experience, the Airbnb resolution process is extremely fair and prompt. What happens if you have an unhappy guest on the first day? So the level of unhappiness will vary widely from guest to guest, and some distant patient will generally bring to your attention minor problems, whereas others might be so displeased with the interior of your place that they will literally leave after check-in. Depend on the situation and the guest. You may or may not be able to fix the problem and pacify the guest. And if not, you can still salvage your reputation, alright? So if you handle the situation properly. And how to fix the problem? Here we go. Whenever a problem arises, your first course of action is to determine if it is fixable issues, and if it is, fix it. Some example that I have encountered, such as no toaster. Oh my god, no toaster. One group of friendly guests were quite disappointed that they couldn't toast their bread in the morning. Toast was a staple component of this family breakfast diet, and they were keen enough on having a morning piece of toast to contact me about the missing affluence. Since I wanted to make them extra happy and the price of the toasters were very low, basically, I had my cleaning lady buy one of them the same day, and I solved the problem, make my customer happy, and stock my apartment with an appliance that would benefit future guests. Yeah. How about a broken Xbox? Right. One of my friends hosts a group of guests include 4 college guys, and in addition to exploring the city, they wanted to engage in friendly video game tournament. Unfortunately for them, and unbeknowingly to my friend, his Xbox was no longer working. And as soon as they let him know, he called the local electronics store and had them deliver a new Xbox to his apartment. And his faulty Xbox was replaced, and he received an absolutely stellar review from those guests. Okay. And this is most likely to be common happen in the cold area, the London, UK, is cold bedroom. So when a couple choose my place for a romantic getaway, they were quite upset. One of the radiator in my place didn't heat up, causing the bedroom to be very, very cold. What did I do? Right, you could guess. I immediately hired someone to fix it, and the next day, because that's for the evening, so I went out and bought a portable heater and gave it to them. So the remainder of their stay were toasted as much as could be. So do you notice the central themes amongst those stories? And if there's a fixable issues, fix it right away, okay? The problem that can be solved usually don't cause guests to be unhappy, but if you solve them as soon as possible, and if as long as you react appropriately and promptly, you won't be blamed. In fact, if you respond right away, you may receive a superior review than if nothing had gone wrong in the first place, okay? How about unfixable problems? So in some instances, the problem simply can be fixed, and this is either because the problem is solvable on short notice or is such an external cause that you simply can address, such as a drought server, a noisy neighbor, etc. You know, so when a problem, a challenge like this arise, this is what you got to do. First, apologize to your guests sincerely for the inconvenience, even if the problem had nothing to do with you or your apartment. um, you got to offer them your condolences regardless. Okay. Second, cover any extra cost they incur to them. So if you guys afford to buy earplugs to blot out the noise from a nearby party, you got to offer to pay for the added expense. Yeah. Number three, offer a partial refund. Depending on how much money to give back is a highly asked question and will depend greatly on a number of variables. Nevertheless, I suggest trying to overcompensate them. Even if the visit a major short-term loss, you can hopefully squeeze out a positive review, or at least avoid a negative review. Okay, you might think these suggestions are over the top, but in the long term, they are the best road to optimize your listings. First of all, unfixable problem like this rarely occur. Handling those them aggressively and proactively will barely affect your revenue stream. Okay, and secondly, taking drastic action greatly reduce the chance of a bad review. Finally, with respect to the partial refund, your guests usually don't take you up on this offer and simply thanks you for the gesture, alright? And these are my example from experience. One time I have an unclean apartment upon check-in. Oh my god, yes. I have arranged for the cleaner to be there to clean before the guests arrive. But they haven't been there and they haven't notified me. So when I host a group of couple from the US, I had some miscommunication with my cleaning lady regarding a cleaning appointment. And consequently, my place wasn't clean before the guests arrived. Needless to say, they were quite furious. My cleaning lady came later in the day to clean the place because the damage has been already done. And as a peace offering, offer a partial refund, and my guests happily accept the money, considering that they come all the way over from the US to London and didn't leave me with a bad review at all. Another time I have broken washer and dryer, right? One reason that my place is such a draw to tourists because it's an in-unit washer and dryer and rare luxury in my neighborhood. So during a particular guest visit, one reason why my apartment is such a draw to tourists is because it has an in-unit washer and dryer, a rare luxury in my neighborhood. During a particular guest visit, my washing machine broken down and I called several repair shops, but despite my best effort, I couldn't replace it in time. And because he absolutely needed to do his laundry, I guess we're forced to do a nearby laundry place. So I apologized profusely and offered to pay for his laundry and give him a partial refund. And he thanks me over and over again, but then told me not to worry about the expenses. And despite the major inconvenience, he didn't leave me bad review at all. Another one I encountered too is late night lockout. So I once host a group of an Australian college student on holiday. They were excited about the nightlight option in my neighborhood, right? And they took every opportunity available to explore the restaurants and bar and club around. So one of those faithful nights, they came back to my place a bit actually completely unable to unlock the door. It was very, very late, I think about 2 or 3 in the morning, and they couldn't get through to me or my cleaning lady on the phone. So as a result, they were forced to check into a nearby hotel. The next day, I head over to the place to let them in To my surprise, there was no problem with the lock or the keys. My guest was simply unable to apply the proper force to turn the key. And even though the locks were functional, I offered to compensate my guests for the cost of the hotel. They ended up taking half of my offer. When it's time to leave the review, they gave me a 5-star in every category and a terrific write-up. That's paid up so much. So those are reasonable fix for an unfixable problem. Okay, so how can you handle guests who want to leave as soon as they check in? Even if your apartment is pristine and well organized and beautiful, you might encounter a guest who think your apartment is unacceptable. And when this happens, you will have a few options to consider. I suggest offering a refund with the condition that the unhappy guest refrains from writing a review, and you are free to charge the guest. But I would weigh the value of the money against damage of a negative review, since this occurrence will be far and few between. The best course of action is to preserve your reputation and protect your future profits. You can also issue a refund to your guests. There are two ways to give your guest a refund. Firstly, in the event that the guest cancels his reservation prior to check-in, you can use Airbnb issue refund button. This enables you to return any cash above and beyond what is normally given according to particular cancellation policy. So your 3% host fee will be adjusted to the final amount you charge, alright? For all other refunds, you can use Airbnb resolution tools, which can be found in the resolution center. All you have to do is choose the appropriate reservation, enter the desired amount and currency, and draft a short message to your guests. Please bear in mind that all refunds are final and the tool can only be used for reservation in the last 30 days, no more than that. So there we go. We have just looked through the communication, all of the communication between you and the guest. So now you have a basic skills of hosting the guest and properly how to deal with all the problems that arise and occur at your place, either at the beginning or the middle and to the end after guest stay. That's all for today's lesson that you got to learn about. Now you are the master of how to handle guests, how to resolve all the problem, and how to make all the review to be 5-star as high as possible for your place. Okay. I will see you in the next models which is model 5. So, try it out with the guests and let me know if you have any experience at all or any bad experience so I can help you to resolve the problem. Okay, see you next time. Bye bye.